Hello YouTube, welcome to the garage. Today we're setting in a 2002 Chevy S-10. It's got the 4.3 liter V6 in it. It's automatic and it's four-wheel drive. The customer complaint is the service engine light is on and it runs like crap, and it really does. So I've already gone through it and determined what was wrong with it, but what I want to do is walk you through using the XTool A30M dongle to troubleshoot this, to show you that you can do this yourself and you don't need somebody with a real fancy scan tool to do that. So I'm going to do the exact same diagnostics I did with the XTool D9S Pro, and I'm going to do the exact same troubleshooting with this to come to the exact same conclusion, and just demonstrate how you could do this at home. Alright, so let me get this thing plugged in. We'll do a scan on it and we'll go from there. I'm going to start this thing up. And it does run like crap. But let me, this dongle uses the AnyScan app. Here's the interface, and what we're going to do is we're going to start from the beginning and going to do an automatic scan on it. There's GM S-10 under 4-speed automatic, and I have no idea. This works good for me. Okay, let's do an automatic scan on it. Okay. Let's check out the report here. It's got a P0440 for the evap emissions, and it's got a P1345. So what I'm going to do is I want to chase down the P1345 on this, and then I will make another video where we'll chase down the P0440 using the A30M. Okay, so we want to go in powertrain, and I did some research on the P1345, and that is a cam crank correlation code. And before we do any of the diagnostics, I had went to ALLDATA and I looked up the process for troubleshooting the P1345 code on this vehicle, and so as I said, I'm going to go through the troubleshooting tree here using the A30M. But first we install a scan tool, start the engine, use the scan tool in order to monitor the engine speed. And what we want to do is, okay, we need to monitor engine speed. Let me pull up some live data here. Okay, it'll be in engine data 1. Okay, and there at the top you can see engine idle speed. Okay, let me see what else this thing says about once we're here. Okay, try and hold it in front of you. Okay, does the engine speed fluctuate up to twice the desired RPM? No, it's just sitting there at around 120, about 120 RPM. So in our little tree here, it is not fluctuating. So it says go to step 4. Okay, and it probably easier for me to just read it. Step 4. Perform the camshaft retard offset test procedure as follows. Okay, install a scan tool, start the engine. The camshaft retard reading will not be accurate below 1000 RPMs. We raise the engine speed to the first specified value, which is over 1000 RPM, and monitor the camshaft retard with the scan tool. And the question is the camshaft retard reading within the second specified value, which is plus or minus 2 degrees. Okay, so first we need engine speed because it's got to be around over 1000 RPM. So now we got to look for camshaft retard. CMP retard right there. Okay, and then we'll custom. That way we only have those two PIDs to look at. So okay, it's stuck at a negative 23. It doesn't matter what RPM I have it on, it's stuck at a negative 23. I think you can see that. So obviously something is wrong there. Okay, so let's see what it says. Our little troubleshooting list here. Okay. Is the camshaft retard reading within the specified value? No. So we go to the next step 6. It's like with the engine at operating temperature and engine off, of course, perform the following procedure. Remove the distributor cap, grasp the distributor rotor, and gently attempt to rotate the rotor. And the question is, does the rotor turn on the distributor shaft? Okay. So we're going to have to go out underneath the hood and check that out and see what the deal is. So let me get us out underneath the hood and I'll be right back. Okay, we're out underneath the hood here. Hopefully I got you set up where you can see what's going on. There are 2 screws that hold the cap down, and they are T15 Torx screws. Pardon my reach here. A little warm, but okay, there's one. That was the easier one. Set it down over here so I don't lose it. Okay, and there's one way in the back here. Alright, see if I can get this out of here without dropping it. Well, haven't dropped it quite yet, but I don't know if it's all the way unscrewed either. Oh, sorry. I mean to bump you there. All right, there's number 2. Okay, the instructions were, let me make sure you're still lined up after I bumped you. Hang on, I want to make sure you can still see what I want you to see. Yeah, I think you're okay. All right. What they want you to do is take the cap and then gently see if you can move the rotor. And the rotor does not move. Okay, it's not loose on there. But there's one thing about these 4.3s that they're notorious for the gear on the end of the distributor shaft wearing, and once it does that, the computer can no longer keep the cam crank correlation in sync, and it runs like crap. So on these distributors, yeah, you want to have the cap so it doesn't move, but also the distributor shaft itself shouldn't move. That should be, you shouldn't have any play in that. So that's what's wrong with this thing, is the distributor gear is worn. And the owner tells me he's been dealing with a shop in town that's got 3 different caps and rotors on it. I think plugs and wires, and I don't know what all else has been done to this, but the problem with it is that gear on the end of the distributor shaft is wore. Now, I asked him, and he doesn't know, with this being 20, it's showing 23 degrees negative, could it be a tooth off? Absolutely. This has, there are 13 teeth on the on this gear on the end of the shaft, with 13 teeth on there, and the crankshaft turns twice for every 1 revolution of the camshaft, so there's 720 degrees of crankshaft revolutions to get 360 degrees of a camshaft. So if you divide 720 by 13, you get about 55 degrees. Okay, if it's 1 tooth off, it could very possibly be 1 tooth off, and the computer can only compensate to negative 23, but it's irrelevant if this is a tooth off. It very possibly could be, but it's irrelevant. The problem with this is the gear on the end of the distributor shaft is wore. So I'm not going to go through the process of trying to make sure that this is in time the way it should be, because the gear is war. It doesn't matter. So, you know, so regardless of whether somebody has this a tooth off or not, you know, it is meaningless. It needs a new distributor. And I actually have one ordered for it. And then what I'm going to do is, you know, a lot of guys just make marks where the rotor is and where the distributor is and pull it out and then drop a new one in there. Well, I'm going to go through the whole procedure of getting in static time with number one piston on top dead center compression stroke, and make sure all of the alignment marks line up. And there's a procedure for dropping the distributor in there, you know, to get it right. And I'm going to go through that entire procedure when the new distributor gets here. But that way I will know that it is in time, you know, static time, and then the computer can adjust it from there. But I'm not going to waste the time of trying to find out if this is one tooth off or not, because I really don't care. It needs a distributor, and I'm going to put it in, you know, using the proper procedure to get it timed with number one, and that should take care of the misfires. But and I will do a video on changing that. But I kind of wanted to show you guys that this is something that's very common with these engines. Is, you know, this has got 173,000 miles on it. I think the gentleman who owns it takes really good care of it, takes, you know, regular oil changes and stuff, but it's just the gear wears, and usually they've gone bad long before this, but again, he takes good care of his stuff. So it needs a distributor. But, you know, and I wanted to show you how, if you have some sort of a dongle where you could go through and do the same tests that I can do with a tablet. But to be perfectly honest with you, there's a shortcut to all that. You don't need all that. The first thing I would do if I had an engine, you know, this vintage, you know, with about, you know, 150, 170,000 miles on it, with the symptoms of a misfire and the code of the P1345, the first thing I would do before I did anything was take that cap off and see if there's any play in that gear. If there's play in that gear, you need a new distributor. Save you a lot of money. But to go through the procedure of troubleshooting it, you need some sort of a, you know, scan device. And I personally like the XTool A30M because it's a it has no yearly subscription to keep it active. It has lifetime updates. So, but I will bring it back when the parts, actually I'll make another video of putting the distributor in this, but I kind of wanted to show you guys, if you have a vehicle like this with that kind of problem, what to check first, and, you know, to save yourself a lot of time, effort, and money. So you know the deal. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.